Yo, let me tell you something about DistroKid. DistroKid is a service that musicians use to put their music on online stores and streaming services. These services include iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, and many more for a measly $20 a year. Now, if you use my affiliate link at the bottom, you can get yourself a 7% discount. So you know what you gotta do.
Hello everybody, and hello Teresa.
Hi Dean.
How are you doing?
I'm very good, and you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. I've had a wonderful day.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity once again.
Well, thank you for having me.
You had me, let's be honest. It's such an honor and it's such a privilege. I'm sitting here looking at these long lists of credentials and all of the things that you've done in your life, and it's really amazing. I just want to start off by saying that.
Thank you so much.
You are such an influential, such an amazing person, and it really shows.
Well, thank you for saying that.
It's just a pleasure. Let me get into this. Winner of 24 beauty titles. I mean, wow. That is just amazing in itself. Former Miss SA, and that is the big one. You have won Dirty Dancing, if I'm not mistaken. And you...
No, it's not. Definitely not Dirty Dancing.
Wait,
I
wish.
It is Strictly Come Dancing.
Strictly Come
That's
Dancing,
right.
that is the one. I'm so sorry for that. And yes,
well, it's close.
like I say, there's just so many. Best body, best face, best dressed, audience votes as winner, judges votes as winner, best book award, business awards, charity awards, 10-year contract with Pageantry magazine. Wow. I mean, offers at film roles. There's just so many. And it seems, that you have a few businesses as well. And that's really what our podcast goes about. We're all about the business side of life. And we want to get a little bit of an insider on where you started and how you became Teresa.
Well, business is tough.
Yeah.
Especially today. In order to be successful in business, you must have some sort of investment that gives you the opportunity to go into the businesses that you like. Now, pageantry gave me that platform. Pageantry is a sport. It's actually an Olympic sport.
Yes.
It's not all about beauty and hair and body and books, but it's also about the skill set that you bring to the table. And then, of course, how you develop your platform that you have. And by saying that, to develop a platform, you must be booked by people.
Yes.
And people only pay when there is value to that title. And the first value for me came when I won Mrs. South Africa, because then I could charge them a fee for doing presentations or functions or bookings or speeches. And from there, I built up a cash flow, which gave me the opportunity to start businesses. But if you are clever, you will never use your own money to start our businesses. Make sure your credibility is 100% at the bank and start from there.
I just feel that it's so amazing that you are your own asset. That is the amazing thing about this.
Your young people today call it brand building.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
that's actually great.
It is.
To have a brand that you can work with.
Especially if your brand is you.
Because, well, thank you.
Yes.
That definitely opens doors for a person. If more than only you know yourself and you have the opportunity to walk into a business boardroom and the people know who you are, that definitely puts you in a advantage.
Yeah, it'll put you in a different category.
Absolutely. And what's important from this, and the reason why I'm saying that, you don't need to be in pageantry to be noticed. Not at all. You can make a difference wherever you are, in your community, because that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Your community is built up by your local entrepreneurs and local businesses.
100%.
They take hands, they join in. So your first newspaper article by building your brand is in a regional local newspaper.
100%.
And that is where you start. And from there, everything will get bigger and bigger as the time go by. And that helps you when you want to join into business ventures and you need financial income or you need a partner for that matter. It makes it easier. But also by starting young and developing that skill set. Remember, Dean, to communicate with people, to negotiate with people is a skill.
It really is.
That you can't get from a book,
It
or
really
you
is.
don't learn it at school or
It really
university. That is something that you have to teach yourself.
And confidence is such a big thing as well.
Yeah.
And
Confidence.
I think maybe for you, the pageantry and the modeling really it gave you that sense of confidence and that sense of worth. Because I always say to people, on a previous podcast, I did say having a job and working for someone is developing someone else's dream, creating someone else's dream come true.
That's so true.
And I always say to people, what do you value yourself as? And what do you value yourself at? And that's really being able to take a dream, being able to take inspiration and turning it into something that is uniquely you, and working towards something that is only you and for you. And I've always believed that even though you start small, even though you start from the bottom, it'll always be better to work for yourself in the sense of if it goes wrong, it's you. If it goes right, it's you. But you are pretty much the rudder that steers your ship, and that's always what I've tried to do in my life. And
for me, it's not only value. Many things add value to your life, and you can add value to other people's life. For me, the most crucial thing is success is a choice.
It is.
You can decide to be successful and go for that.
Yeah.
The second thing is it's important who you surround yourself with.
Exactly.
Surround yourself with successful people, and they will influence you in a positive manner.
And they challenge you.
They
really
and
do.
And they will help you to succeed by just sit and listen to them. You can learn a lot, and by apply the basic principles of business. First of all, take care of your money. Don't spend your money unwisely.
100%.
If you live above your means, then you will always be in trouble. Do not spend your money when it goes well with you. That is the time when you're safe, because bad days is always coming. You never know what lies ahead. But at the end of the day, when you surround yourself with positive people, good vibes, good life.
It is true.
And if you are a positive person, you will attract positive stuff that will come into your life. And what you say, your tongue is your biggest enemy in life.
Can be your greatest asset as well, though.
On a spiritual level, it is important to condition your mind to think positive.
It's true.
Because when you condition your mind to think positive, positiveness will come from your mouth, and then positiveness will come to you. And that's very important. The next thing that I haven't mentioned, which is maybe the most important thing, is to write down what you want to accomplish.
It's true.
You must have a business plan.
100%.
Because many times you start with a project and then halfway through it, you think to yourself, but this was never my idea.
That is so true.
And that is the problem.
It's like we're sharing a mind, because I always say to people, guys, make sure your business plan is on point. Because people lie. Ideas seem extravagant in the beginning, but then when you sit down and you crunch the numbers,
that's correct.
Numbers do not lie. 1 + 1 would always be 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The advantage that the young people have today is the online circuit.
Yes.
Now you have access to the rest of the world, which gives you a much bigger chance to succeed.
True. But you know what I've also found is, and the reason why I started this podcast is because so many of my friends and so many of my acquaintances had these beautiful ideas, and they just did not know how to implement them. And that's one of the saddest things, because like you say, we have so much knowledge at our exposure. And at our fingertips, but there's so few people that actually knows how to put it in practice. And that's why I started this podcast, interviewing people like you and getting the real how-to guide on how to be successful in a certain field. And I feel like, you know, everyone's got their own journey and everyone's got their own path to success, but it really starts with yourself. It really starts at home. And I feel like everything that I've heard today tells me that you're a very family-orientated person. Your son Jamie is an amazing model and he's doing some amazing things, but it always comes across that if one of us shine, all of us shines, you know, and if one does well, we all do well.
Yeah, there's a saying, you can't reach the top of a hill if you don't take your friends and family alone.
It's true.
Because on top can be very alone.
Oh, yeah.
But what I will tell your friends is to find a mentor.
Yes.
And then to have a sit down with a mentor and put everything that they want on paper. And from there, they can start step by step putting it into practice.
Yes.
It's the only way, and hard work. Even for Jamie, nothing ever came easy for him.
Yeah.
You know, even when he was at school, his dream was to be this cricket player, a good cricket player, which he was. But when his friends were done with cricket, he will go and he will have a lesson with a coach. And then he will start his private sessions in order to become the player that he wants to be, that he put it out in his mind. And that is with everything in life, is you have to decide what level of accomplishment you want and what steps you must take.
How much are you willing to put in?
And how much are you willing to put in to get there? And if you have clarified that in your mind, the sky will be the limit.
He's a very fortunate boy because just like you and Jamie, I had a mother that was very driven and very ambitious, and my father as well. So I always had that example set for me in my life, and I always had very ambitious parents, and I was just so grateful in my life that, and this it comes down to I've been watching this podcast, Rich Dad Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki, and he really said it in a true sense that my father never said to me I couldn't do something. My mother as well. There was never a dream that was too big. There was never a project that was unreachable. It was just. And you know, it really is sad to see that a lot of young people nowadays get told that you can't do something and get told that there's a lot of things that they're just not good enough to achieve. And I think like Jamie, I was one of the fortunate few that really had parents that pushed me and made sure that I was pushing my limits all the time. Because it really is, it's and I've seen now in my life, I mean, I'm 25 years old, and it's really when things are going tough, and it's really when you're tired, like you say, Jamie was finished with cricket and he would put in that extra hour of work. It's really that sets you apart from the rest.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
So let me ask you, what was that moment for you when you had to pretty much sit down at that crossroads and think, you know what, I could choose the easy way, but I'm going to rather challenge myself and push myself out of my comfort zone and take the road less traveled?
Well, I have those T-roads moments all the time. When you challenge yourself a lot, you have those crossroad moments all the time.
Yeah.
And again, it is about stay back, think of what is happening in front of you, accept the challenge and sort it out.
It's true.
That is one of things of business. If you work for yourself and you're an entrepreneur, there is never office hours.
Yeah.
So you work 7 days a week. You make sure that the businesses that you are start doing, is a profitable business. And in today's time, it is very important to hustle with more than one thing. It's not only to be set on one thing, but to do different things.
It's true.
And at the end of the day, it will make a huge difference in your financial outcome.
It's true.
And where it can go. And that is, if the one thing doesn't work, then you still have 7 other things.
That's the thing.
That you can concentrate on. Because sometimes you have this wonderful idea, and then in that moment of time, it just don't work.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's a bad idea at all. It can be the people that you are working with. What are their mind space at the moment?
Yeah.
And life is about perceptions. I see a clear road ahead where other people can't see that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I can't ride in that road.
It's the truth.
Because they can't see it. And that's the thing of people. They get let down very fast.
Yeah. Well,
and
we
that
live in an
tells
age of
me-
instant recognition.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that tells me that they didn't really have that belief. Because if one person put you down, then your idea is crap,
Yeah.
which it is not. I don't think for 1 second that God will place ideas in your head if He didn't think that you have what it takes to accomplish that idea.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. God's got some big plans for me then, because I've got a million ideas.
I'm
all
very
day
happy
long.
to hear that.
So, all I can say for you is that, looking from the outside in, where do you find the time? How do you manage your time? Because it seems like you're busy with so many things, and like you say, entrepreneurs like you and I, there is no office hours. Even my girlfriend hates me all the time because I get called at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. Sometimes even when I'm dealing with international people at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, they're looking for trucks. And it really comes down to, in my experience, doing one thing at a time, like you say. And I watched a guy, and he says, all you need to do in the morning is wake up and do your bed. You wake up in the morning, you make your bed, and then that first goal is achieved. That first thing that you needed to do is achieved. And it's really something that I've been trying to kind of work on. Is I wake up in the morning, I make my bed, I go and eat my breakfast, I start training, and then I start my day. And I really have to be self-disciplined in the way that there's no one telling me to do what I need to do. My attitude kind of determines my altitude, you know?
True.
And it's really a thing that entrepreneurs just, I feel, lack nowadays, because we live in the age of instant recognition, because kids are, everything that they need is right there, right now. It's not a long-term vision, like you say. And I really needed to discipline myself and say, you know what, Dean, this is my office hours, this is when I need to sit down and work, and I need to do such and such and such and such and such a day. How do you manage your day?
Well, they say if you want something done, give it to a busy person.
Boom.
Because a person who's not busy is a lazy person.
Yes.
And they never have the time to do anything. You have to be strict with yourself.
Yeah.
I have a diary, and I write in my diary every single day what my plans are, what I have to do that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I do not go to bed unless I have ticked my box. I've done this, I've done that. So I always have a to-do list that needs to be done.
And I'm sure it's ever growing.
And I never leave it for the next day.
Yeah.
Because then you are behind.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Today's people, the younger generation, I really believe that it is easier for them to reach success than it was for me when I was younger. And the reason for that is they walk every day with an amazing amount of knowledge in their hands,
True.
on their cell phones.
True.
There is so many knowledge that is in this point of time that you have access to.
It's true.
That to fail at something is actually impossible.
There is no excuses.
There is no excuses.
That's true.
It's only about money and how badly do you want this.
It's true.
If you want it bad enough, you will make a plan.
It's true. And let's get back to the whole funding, the whole you need that little bit of money. I was talking to a gentleman the other day and he said, you know what, Dean, why don't you just go and get a job? Why don't you just go and work and sell cars again? And I said to him, you know what, sir, I've got bigger dreams than that. And I sat down and I said, have you ever done the maths? Have you ever sat down with yourself and asked how much can you save? And he said, you know what, Dean, I can save probably about 10% of my salary after I've paid my car and my house and my loans and all of this. And I said to him, sir, well, do you realize that if you save 10% of your salary for an entire year, you would have only saved a 1 month salary? I said to him, yes. You would have saved 1 month's salary that entire year if you put away 10% of your salary. So I've always said to people, you know what, that whole thing that I've got to wait until I have money, I've got to wait until I find an investor, it's really not, it's not the way to go. If you have a dream, start now.
Yes.
Start small and someone will recognize you.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere, somehow along the way, someone that needs to be on your path will come your way, and that'll be your start. So what was your start? What was your...
My thing was many small things. I never had, when I was younger, a dream that I want to accomplish within 5 years from now or 10 years from now. I always lived in the moment. And that gave me the opportunity to see what was right in front of me. Because
Sorry,
many times...
Stop? What's wrong, Enzo?
No, nothing is wrong. Continue.
Are you sure? Where's the camera? Okay.
Many times, opportunities is right in front of you, but you don't see it.
Yes.
Because you think about this big dream that lies ahead of you. So I did a lot of small things that at the end of the day made a huge pool of brand building for me, like you've seen today when you put it out and you sing, this is what I have done.
So
that is
long.
why I am on this platform where I am. So I never had a 5-year plan, ever. I looked at today and I took the best of what was in front of me now.
You broke it down into little chunks.
And I broke it down and I did it the best way that I can. And then by the time that I've done with this, then there's something else.
It's true.
And so it built it up. And what I found in my career is it's not big things that open huge doors for you.
It's true.
It is the small, insignificant things that open the huge doors of change in your life. But for one thing for that to happen is not to sit on the couch, but to start networking. I always say, in order to win something or to accomplish something, you need to be there.
Yeah.
If you're not there, it's not going to happen for
It's
you.
true.
And many times, and I've heard it and seen it so many times where people say, I'm not going to go there now. It will not mean anything to me. But you're not a mind reader. You don't know the future.
You don't know what's going to happen.
So you think what's going to happen, but you don't know. And that's gamble with your future.
Yeah.
If there's a possibility, you go for it now. But because people are so emotionally tired, because they are thinking about tomorrow, how am I going to pay the bill? How am I going to throw gas in the car? That they miss the 140 rand that lies on the table right in front of you to put
true.
petrol in that car.
It's true.
And that was how I lived my life. I started also small, but I was there. Doesn't matter how small it is,
Yeah.
I was there. And from there, it started to grow to something bigger.
Bikkie maak baie.
Yes, at the end of the day.
That is true.
And it's exactly the same with business.
It is.
Is that small stones that you lay, and the cement will come later.
It's true.
And you will cement it and make it solid. And then you move to the next level. For example, we are busy with a clothing range. We have the most amazing designs, Ciao Bella. And it took me 3 years now. And we haven't made a pants. Why? We have this idea of do it proudly South African. And to find the right people with a skill set to make these type of clothing is very, very hard. I do not want to give my audience or my clients a China model. We want to give them something classic, but in an affordable price range. And that took 3 years. And only last year we came across phenomenal women that can make clothing from a picture. And now we are enabled to move forward. But in the meantime, this past 3 years, I didn't stay set on that. I also did other stuff.
Exactly.
And every time I came back to that, because it's on the table and it needs to be done, we are now so far that we are going to deliver a complete range to Germany.
Wow.
There's a gentleman in Germany that have 4 stores, and we have the opportunity to present our clothing to them. And if he likes it, we are going to send it abroad. If he doesn't like it, I'm going back to the drawing board and we will make something for him until he likes it. Even if it takes another 3 years. But for me, it's about don't give up and your dream.
Yeah, and you know what? I think as well, especially with you and Marlies, you guys are such a good team. You know, you guys really complement each other in that way. And I think just the fact that you guys took 3 years to develop something, it really shows the amount of quality that you guys want to push. And that's really where success is made. I've seen in business is where you honor yourself. You really say, look, this is representing me. And I do not skimp on myself.
I'm very glad that you brought Marlies up. What makes us a phenomenal partners is the fact that I'm completely different from her. She is a phenomenal business brain. She can put things in perspective on paper. So you can talk a lot of things, but the moment when you put it on paper, it looks completely different. Then the reality strike in from, okay, this is possible for at this moment. And she always brings you down to the table of put it down on paper in a business plan, bring the money, bring the calculations, and then we'll talk again. And you cannot have a business without a person like that.
Oh, you need a team.
You need
really
a team
do.
of people, a team of experts. I can have the idea, but the idea must be implemented. And I was very lucky in life to be surrounded by people with a skill set 10 times better than mine. So I have the platform, but they are delivering the project, and that is exactly what Marlies is doing for me. She rounds it up and she delivers.
And I feel like a lot of people just don't want to trust in their team. A lot of people don't want to give people that chance. And I've seen it so many times before, but you end up burning yourself out.
But also, those type of people have been disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
There was people that let them down. And unfortunately, in today's time, you have to be so careful.
Yeah.
So careful with who you work. So in my business world, in my frame of mind, it's very important for me not to build bridges.
Yeah.
And look, I can be a difficult person at times. I can be very strict. But I also can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And if somebody is upset with me, I won't leave them and move forward. I will fix it with them because I know what I have in them.
Yeah.
And I know what they can bring to the table. You never know what the new people can bring to the table. And to build new relations with other people is stealing time.
It is.
So it doesn't matter what dream you have or what you want to do. There will be ups And I can promise you there will be downs.
Oh, yes.
There will be days when there will be financial glory, and there will be days when there will be financial nothing.
It's true.
But the question is, how do you stand up from that?
Yeah.
Saul Kessler was insolvent for 4 times, and he stood up every time and he went bigger.
Yeah.
Every single time, because he had the recipe.
Well,
And business can be very simple.
oh, yes.
Can be very simple.
But it can also be very complicated at the same
Oh
time.
yes, it is complicated many times.
If you choose to complicate
Yeah.
things.
Uncomplicate your life.
100%.
I believe in keep stuff simple.
Einstein says, if you cannot explain something simply, you do not understand it.
Exactly.
And I love that.
That is so true. The moment when you start talking, then you might actually know that you are saying nothing.
It's the truth. But I think you and I have spoken before about the financial difficulties that you went through. And
Look, I had money
mm,
and I lost it all.
tell me about it.
And I had money again.
And you lost it all again.
And I lost it all again. And now I'm at a place where I literally understand money.
Mm.
And now with less money, I can do more when I had a lot of money.
It's true, eh?
Yeah, you understand the meaning of money when you go through hardships. And hardships is there to teach you a lesson.
Mm.
And it's important that you have to understand the lesson of your journey.
It's true. I mean, I wouldn't go too much into what happened with me because it's not really my interview, but I would say it also teaches you who stands with you in life. And in my experience, it was my family. You know, when we were doing really well and we were living on the farm and we had Frisian horses and things were going, everyone's your friend. And as soon as you lose your money, you start seeing, look, people are falling away, people are kind of falling through the cracks, and you really start seeing who's your ride or die people. And for me, it's always been my family. My mom is always stuck with me, and my mom's always been my rock. And I feel like that's the same with you as well. I connect so much with your story and with you and Jamie. It's so funny because I really see my mother and I in you guys, you know. I really see the struggles that you guys went through, and I can relate on a personal level. And all I can say is for you guys, and this is truly from my heart, that amazing things are to come.
Thank you, Dean.
Just like with my
Thank
mother.
you for saying that.
No, please, I really mean it. And
Yeah.
I feel the same way in my life. I feel like my mother and I has gone through the hardest times, and we've grown as people, and we've kind of really sift out the nonsense in our lives, and we've kind of come down to what the bare necessities are. You know, it's funny when, I asked my dad the other day, so how much does bread cost? And my dad couldn't answer me how much the price of bread is right now, because he doesn't really, he just buys bread. And I think when you get to that level, you start realizing what's really important and what's not, and what you can live with and what you can't live without. And I just cannot live without my family, and I can't live without the people in my life that have stuck with me through this time. And just keep going at it, and you and Jamie are going to do some amazing things.
Family is very important.
It is.
That is the glue of your life.
It is.
And that, like you say, that is the people that is always behind you, and that will always be on the lookout for you.
Yeah.
But again, it is not an easy relationship. You're not just with somebody or because you have a good relationship because he's your son. You have to work at any relationship that you have. And Jamie and I were together from day one. And I think the key to our good relationship is that we can always talk to each other openly and honestly. We have exactly the same dreams for each other.
Yes,
and we correlate so good to each other. He's also building a brand. I was in pageantry, he is in bodybuilding, and he's doing extremely well.
The boy looks
for
really
himself.
good.
And that's hard work. That is like a 7-day-a-week commitment.
Yeah.
He literally takes his work home.
Yeah.
Day and night. And It is
a big
hard.
commitment.
It's a huge commitment, but that
Diets.
says a lot about a person.
It
If
does.
he can commit on that level, he can be successful in anything in life that he chooses.
It's the truth.
And that is why I'm so happy that he's building this brand for him and that he can tell other people. Because nothing did come easy for Jamie. He always worked hard for what he wanted, but he got it.
That's it.
And I have no doubt in my mind that he will be successful in anything that he chose.
Well, I'm watching the space personally. I can't wait to see him either on TV one day or on Men's Health magazine. Or
I really think he's on his way there.
Well,
Step by step.
and
If
with
they
a mother
don't,
like you, how can you fail?
oh,
I mean,
thank
you've
you.
been there and you've done that. If anyone is going to show him the good business model, it's you. Because you've made the mistakes, and it's the same thing with my mother as well. She's made the mistakes, and I think as a son, you just have to be able to open your mind and learn from those things.
Yeah, but the scary part now is there was a time that I taught him, and now it's the other way around. He's a guy with a degree. He's a guy that loves to read. So he's very knowledgeable about many topics.
Yeah.
So I have to keep up.
Well,
He is teaching me about many, many things.
my mom thinks I'm cocky when I say this, but we were born to be better than you guys.
Absolutely. No, I believe in that. I want him to accomplish much more than I did. That is why I have him.
100%.
And that is why I put him from this platform to go further, stronger. And I believe he will. I have no
believe so
doubt in
as
my
well.
mind that he will.
And you know what? Getting back onto what you've done, I sat down with you the other day and we spoke about Dream Ambassadors. And let me say that your business plan is amazing.
Thank you.
Trump he's a beast.
Absolutely.
That man understands
He's a
business through and
legend
through.
in
He really
business.
is a legend. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
people can knock Trump. A lot of people say a lot of things about Trump, but I really feel like that man he's amazing. He really is next level. But, you know, just sitting down and talking to you, and Dream Ambassador is for everyone.
Absolutely.
And that's really what it
Yeah.
is. You're not just influencing
No.
people that's around you and people that's your family, but you really are an inspiration to the youth. You really are an inspiration to all women, to all men. And that's, I feel like what I got from Dream Ambassadors is it's for everyone. It really is a platform that caters to every person.
Yeah, I also believe that. The business model that Donald Trump gave me is phenomenal, but the execution of the model is not that easy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of trial and error because you have to find the right people that drives it, that have the same drive that you have, and the same passion to teach other people the skill in order to move forward. And Dream Ambassador gives them that platform that I had in order to develop, first of all, a skill set. Whether it is negotiations, whether it is selling yourself. Look, you can have gold in your hand. If you can't sell it, nobody wants it. Then that gold means nothing. Only 3% of the world population is marketers. And if you are looking for them, you won't find them because they are top earned salary people.
The 1%ers.
In huge firms. They are not, you do not have access to them. So where do that leave you and me? We have to develop those skills to these people. We have to teach them that. And the only way to do that is to put it into practice.
Yes.
The younger you start, the better it will be for you.
It's true.
So even though if you don't win this competition, you have, I sent you home with a platform. The competition is written in such a way that it's a practical exercise of everything.
Yes.
It is the best knowledge that was gathered all over the world in one agenda, in one booklet. Like, for example, longevity. Everybody wants to be young. Everybody wants to stay young for as long as they can, but none of them know how. And longevity is such an easy concept to grasp. I'm not unique. I'm not 52 and look 20 because I'm unique. No, I had access to these people. When I was younger, I had this hunger to learn. So I went to people that had the knowledge. And it was so imprinted in my mind that you can make me drunk and I can say it up from the back to the front. That was how it was imprinted. And even right up until today, people still don't understand their skincare. They think the more expensive a product is, the better you will look. And that's not at all.
Yeah.
It's not about the product that you put on your face, but it's
a
about
lifestyle.
the way you clean your face and what you eat and what you drink, your lifestyle. So longevity is a total new concept for so many people, and yet it's the oldest concept since the beginning of time. And that is a type of knowledge that I have been fortunate to get, that I would like to impose on the younger generation, to teach them.
And let me say as well that don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to go and talk to that intimidating person, you know. And with you, it was easy. I mean, you really are a celebrity. You really are an inspirational person, but you're also so easy to talk to. I've met a lot of people in my life that seem just so unapproachable, but I feel like I'm very weird like that. I'm not scared of influential people. I'm not scared of people with money. I'm not scared of people that have big businesses. I go and I ask questions. I go and I talk to them, because that's really where you set yourself apart, and that's really where you get the information, like you say, that you need. And that's really, I feel like, a great skill to have. Don't be afraid to go and ask questions, and don't be afraid to fail. That's one of the biggest things that I feel school and parents teach kids is, do not fail, don't make mistakes. I was never taught that. I was taught to fail. I was taught to learn. I was taught to make as many mistakes as I can. And it's really gotten me, I wouldn't say super far in my life, but it's certainly made me a wiser person than I think a lot of the 25-year-olds that I do hang out with. In actual fact, I find myself, like you say, not hanging out with 25-year-olds anymore. I find myself hanging out with people like Timber. I find myself hanging out with people that I want to be like. And that really came from that self-confidence that I had in myself, and that my family and my parents put inside of me. And I just wish that more people would be like you. More older generations would teach the younger generation how to live their lives, and how to kind of conquer the trials and the
Yeah, I feel failure lies in fear.
Yes.
You stand up, you're committed, you're going to do something. Then you go to a person, and that person throws you off the table. You stand up, you go out, you say, this is not going to work. But you don't know in what state of mind that person was. Many, many times I go into meetings, and then I met with a person, and I can see right in front of me, this meeting is not going to take off. His frame of mind is not what it's supposed to be. He had either a fight with his wife, or he has a financial issue. And now I'm coming with my brilliant idea, and he's going to push me off the table.
And he's just not enthusiastic about it like
at
you are.
all. And not because my idea is not good. It's because of his mind space.
Yes.
And that's one thing that you can only understand when you start to work with people. And different kinds of people, and you start to understand that we are all connected. We are all the same. We have the same disappointments. Some days you woke up like a champ, and other days you woke up and then you have to talk yourself into the day.
That multi-millionaire put his pants on one leg at a time, just like you.
Just like me. And if you have that wisdom, that emotional intelligence to start to read people, you will see that you will not get so sidetracked from the ideas that you have. Like, for example, I pulled off with Dream Ambassador in Welkom, I think 2 years ago, and I signed contracts in Welkom, but it didn't came off And then I said to myself, no, it's not the idea. It's the person that I entrusted this amazing program that's in a bad mindset. And then I thought to myself, oh, well, maybe I'm just saying it to make myself feel good.
No,
and then
look,
2 years later, I found out it was exactly that.
it really is difficult what you're trying to do, because you have to trust your idea in so many people, and it's almost like you have to micromanage so many people. And I think there's just so much money that goes around as well, and that's one of the biggest things, is trusting people with your money.
Yeah.
Because that's been a big problem in my businesses. It's been a big problem I've seen in a lot of people's there's just no one really that has your own interest like you.
No one. If you want something done, do it yourself.
That's so true.
Do it yourself.
It really is.
Yeah.
But I'm just so glad that we get to sit down with people like you, and there is still people like you that want to empower people, because that's why like you said, that's why the 1%, you never get access to them, because they're not willing. You know, they just don't have time for anyone else. And I'm just so privileged to know you, and I'm so privileged to be in your company. And thank you so much for really giving us the time and really sitting down, even though I'm a young guy, and even though, you know, I'm not exactly in the line that you're going into, but we can sit down as two people and we can have a meaningful conversation. And not just a meaningful conversation, but learn life lessons and learn from experiences. And that's really what it's all about.
Well, we're here to learn.
I sat here the whole day, and I not one time was bored.
Serious?
I am just so flabbergasted at your commitment, and the way that you, even though I know you're tired, and even though I know you've had a long day, you portray yourself with such passion, and you portray yourself with such meaning.
Well, you talk to me about topics that I love. If you talk to me about Jamie, I can keep you busy for the whole day and night.
I would have loved Jamie to be here, and that's why I wanted to bring him up in the podcast, and that's why I wanted to make him a part of this, even though he wasn't here. And I know that one day we'll meet up, and I'll do a podcast with him. But for now, we'll keep him here in spirit.
Yeah.
And
from a young guy's point of view, I think you two will have an awesome conversation. Yes. And other young guys that are exactly like you two will learn a lot from that. I think both of you have a lot to offer.
Thank you.
It will be a shame if you guys don't put yourselves out there. And I really think the way you guys look is a gift from God.
Thank you.
And what you do with that is your gift back to Him. And that is very important. You get different types of people, and then you get people that you know they are just different. They see things different. They do things different. And there's a reason for that. And it's important when you build that platform that you expose that to people, so that they can see what you can accomplish if you set your mind to that.
It's true.
And Jamie was different from the day he was born. He was just this one big committed young boy. He did what needed to be done, if he wanted to do it or not. And I can see that through his whole life. And we will pick the fruit from that.
100%.
And I can see exactly the same with you. You have to put in the effort, and you are there. You are putting the effort. You are sowing the seeds.
Well, you know, I've always said, I would rather be the person that everyone looks at and says, you're crazy, but that person that does something that no one else could possibly do. And I've always been someone that I'm very spiteful. Don't tell me I can't do something, because I will do it, and I'll do it really well. And I'm just so grateful that people have always challenged me and told me not to do great things, because I'm always doing great things. You know, I'm always pushing my boundaries. And I keep on bringing this up. It comes down to a great mother. And I can see this through you. Your son is your life, and I've been privileged in my life to have a mother that's really done that same thing for me. And for all of the guys out there, for all of the boys out there that have mothers like we do, I just want to say, look after your mom, guys. she's really, look after your mom. Because
Well, that's very nice for you to say.
yes, man.
I
You
want
guys
to
are
add.
gems.
I want to add something though. Greatness and success does not always lie in financial success.
That is
Because
true.
remember, financial success can be very, very alone
Yes.
and unforgiving. Greatness and success for me first lies at happiness.
Yes.
If you are not happy with your surroundings and happy where you are and happy with yourself, you cannot offer that to anybody else. So I always say charity begins at home. You first take care of yourself and then you will be able to take care of others. And by that I don't mean by saying sell wealth. I'm not saying sell wealth. I am saying sell emotional health. Because when you are healthy, you are rich.
It's true.
Then you are a rich person.
It's true. I mean, I asked my dad a question one day, and I think I've got one more question for you, and then we probably have to stop the podcast. I could sit here and talk hours with you.
We'll do this again.
Oh, yes, please, because I've got so many more questions to ask you.
We'll
and I feel
definitely
like
do it again.
if we just gave it a little bit more time, we would have achieved what we're talking about right now. So, but I did ask my dad one day, how much is enough? When do you stop? And he said to me, you know, my boy, I wake up every morning and I love what I do. And
And that's so important.
And you know what? It's not really for him about how much money he's making. It's just because he loves it so much, he does really well.
If you love what you do, you will never work a day in your life.
It's true. And I see that, and I've seen that in so many people, even Temba. Like, the guy is just, he loves what he does. I've never seen him and he's not smiling and he's not happy and he doesn't greet me with such, you know, he's a really, his attitude in life is so infectious. It's like the flu. When I sit by him, he makes me want to do things. He makes me want to push myself. And it's the same with you. I sit down with you for an hour and I'm going to go now and I'm going to go sell a truck.
That's fantastic.
You know what I mean? It's just you and
I'm very happy to hear that.
we need more people like that in our
And I
lives.
think there's a lot of people out there
There
that's
is.
like us. We must just find them.
There is. Last question for you, and I like to ask all of my guests this. What was the moment in your life where you just absolutely hit rock bottom and you were questioning where you were going in life, and what helped you overcome that?
My worst moment in life was the night my boy died. To overcome that is a journey of many, many years. Why I did overcome that is my mindset that I have. But to get to that mindset, to accept that your child is buried, takes some doing.
A parent should never bury a child.
Never.
Yes.
So what I did, I said to myself, success is a choice. So emotional well-being must then also be a choice. So I decided to look at Jaden differently. Not to think of him as my baby that's under the ground. I think of him as this beautiful little thing that came into our lives, and without speaking a word, he changes so many people's lives without even knowing them. So I started to celebrate him. And I think that is the approach that all of us must have is mindset. You have to understand. And I say that to Jamie many, many times. His hardship is lying ahead of him, yours as well. But it's your mindset, your headspace, where you at, that will help you to overcome that. And if you are a negative person, the chance that you will overcome the heartaches that's lying in front of you, that must still come, then I will feel very bad for you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we are here, and our journey is already enrolled for us, and we have to walk on the path that was given to us. And it's important that we make it worth our while. And if we take our hardships and all the problems that is still coming and we face it head on, but with a clean and positive headspace, you will be okay.
Teresa, you are an inspiration to us all. Really, you are.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on our podcast, and thank you so much for giving me
thank
the
you
time of
for
day.
inviting me.
It is such a pleasure. I was flabbergasted when you said that we could do a podcast. I really was.
Thank you.
And yes, I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do in the future. I can't wait to see what Jamie is going to do in the future as well. Soon we're going to have a podcast with him, and he's going to explain to me all of these things about bodybuilding and what supplements he's using. I'm really looking forward to that. We'll make a plan to go and do that.
That changes lives.
Yes.
Be healthy, eat healthy,
Really
be in a
does.
better headspace because of that. Keep your head sane. That's why you exercise. That is life changing.
It's true.
For sure.
It's true. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.